So the balance came in not from a paycheck, but from doing the things that I knew mattered. So things like being at this summit, serving in a way that my gifts and talents can help others. That feeds me more than some monetary amount in my bank account. Their dreams are really small because it's all they know, and they don't know how to elevate into a bigger dream set than they've had before. It's so easy to limit yourself to what you know or what you think is within your income level, or your parents did this, so that means that you can maybe get a little higher than them but not go to the moon.
I bet that you consider that studying at the top university abroad is going to give you the success and the fulfillment that you want in this life. Is this correct? Today I have with me a guest that will show you that it's not only about the school that you are going to graduate from, it's more than this. Hello, Tina. Thank you for being here. Tina, I know that you graduated from UPenn, from Wharton Business Management, right?
That is correct.
And also we had with us because we just finished the African Youth Leadership Summit, we had also another graduate from Harvard. So what do you think about this? Do you think that it's enough to get into a top school and have a diploma from UPenn, Harvard, or whatever in order to be fulfilled and be successful? What is your your opinion, considering the experience that you had and also the things that you know around your colleagues?
Sure. Well, looking at it in hindsight, right? Having lived quite a bit more of my life than I was when I was in school, I didn't know at the time that I applied that it was an Ivy League. I just really liked the campus and I wanted to go there. So to me, the campus was speaking to me, and that was the draw. Of course, when I got there, and I had selected colleges that had good business programs. So when I got there, I was richly fed by the type of people I was around. The teachers were incredible. The opportunities we had, the internships, all of that was amazing. So I loved that experience, and that was beautiful. So now, having been on, going out in careers and so on, I was a military spouse, so we moved for his career many times, and we went to places where they didn't necessarily know about the Wharton School. And so I tended to drop it off of my conversations because it wasn't that important to people. But I knew that I had achieved a lot and gone there and done what I needed to do, and that was enough for me. And that has contributed a lot to the types of businesses I've started, the mindset I've always had, just my eyes are always open for opportunity and the things that I know I'm following my heart to do. And so that belief in myself carried with me over time.
But what is something that you think that schools, like top schools, but also the other schools, they would need to have in order for the kids to get indeed the success, the fulfillment that they want in life?
Sure.
Because we saw that there are a lot of graduates from Ivy Leagues, from top schools in Europe, like around the world, and they get the career, like they get the money, because that's why you go, they get the money, but they are not so happy in other areas of their life. But even in their careers, maybe they don't succeed at the level that they want. So what is something actually that is missing in all this puzzle?
Well, I definitely think you have what would have been beautiful for me was some type of a counselor or guide or coach that would have explained to me how I was going to feel like a fish out of water in some cases, because I wasn't there for the same reason as a lot of my friends were, or the people that ended up being my friends. And so I felt awkward and like I didn't fit in a lot. They were very rich and I wouldn't say poor, but I definitely wasn't at the caliber as a lot of the people that just expected that they could get into the school and everything was fine. And I worked while I was going to school in order to pay for it, and they didn't have to do that. So I ended up, I just had a different mindset about the education in general, but I think it helped me in other areas of my life where it wasn't all about work. It was about doing the things that spoke to my heart. And so the balance came in not from a paycheck, but from doing the things that I knew mattered. So things like being at this summit, serving in a way that my gifts and talents can help others. That feeds me more than some monetary amount in my bank account.
So everyone is driven depending on the values that they have.
Yeah.
But what about, for example, mindset? Do you think it's something around mindset that universities might need to introduce in their curriculum that they don't have it at this moment? Because you know that a lot of kids also who are coming in this kind of summits, they believe that, I'm already a leader. I already know all the things. Because at this age, you already believe that you can know everything. And then and if you can succeed and become like the president of the United States or in your country and so on. But when you get it through life, you see that actually things are happening, like there is stress, things and so on. And maybe not everybody arrives here. What they need in order to indeed to arrive to their goals, to their vision, to their compelling future, as Hal was saying before.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I was a leader in my high school, but it wasn't a very high-performing high school. No one from my high school had ever gone to an Ivy League. And so I thought I was, just like all of those teens, or the way that teens like to be, you know your level, you know your top level. But when you're around people that perform at an even higher level than you, that can really get to your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. So mindset work would have been incredible for me. Now, having immersed myself in Tony Robbins' work and just the different things I did to support my mind over the years, I know that type of conditioning really, really helps. Because when it's coming from within, then it doesn't matter what's happening on the external. But when all that's happening is you're looking at someone else and you're envious of what they have and you don't have, that sets you up for failure in the long run.
What kind of negative thinking or limiting beliefs you saw to all these kids that you've been working with here at the summit, for example?
So one of the things I mention a lot to kids I work with or people that I experience things with is their dreams are really small because it's all they know, and they don't know how to elevate into a bigger dream set than they've had before. I noticed recently I went to the Taj Mahal and I realized it had never been on my dream bucket because I never ever thought that I would go to the Taj Mahal. So it was like something I had put to the side and said, that's not going to happen. And yet it was totally within my reach. And so now I'm even learning to dream bigger and bigger because it's so easy to limit yourself to what you know or what you think is within your income level, or your parents did this, so that means that you can maybe get a little higher than them, but not go to the moon or Mars, as Elon Musk would like us to do.
Okay, so you're saying that these kids, they don't dream big enough.
Right.
Okay. But what about the kids that are going, for example, when you've been to UPenn, did you see, I know that it was a long time ago, but do you think that they have as well some limiting beliefs, that kids who are going to this kind of schools, they have limiting beliefs and maybe they're not aware about them? And what would be around? What would be the those?
Right. Well, I think, if you wanted to examine it as a limiting belief, there were career paths that the normal student from Penn, from Wharton would go to. Mm-hmm. And that might not open them up to things like, I always told my children, the reason you don't know what career you want now is it doesn't exist right now. Like, it could be something that no one's thought of yet. And by the time you get through school, as long as you've focused on your skill sets and the things that are interesting to you, it will open up an opportunity that it isn't there. And it will be once you're the right person to step in and take control.
Okay. So in the end, do you think that so it's in order to get the success, the fulfillment, whatever it's your goals, do you think that it's enough only to go to a top school?
No.
But what is needed more?
Well, like you talked about, the self-confidence, the vision, having that really strong vision of what you know you're meant to do, and then not letting anybody else talk you out of it or make you believe that it's not something that you're capable of or that it's not for you. I think a lot of kids think if they're not doing exactly what their friends are believing they should do, that makes them weird or crazy or that something's wrong with them. And so by holding tight to the things that you know you're meant to do, that'll escalate you, and it doesn't matter what they think because they're the same people that are going to want to be at the party with you as you celebrate your success later.
From your experience, you've been now at this African Youth Leadership Summit. You've been before as well to GYLS in the States, or this was your first?
I haven't been to GYLS, but I've done a lot of the Tony Robbins events.
Okay, because you are also a senior leader and you are dealing also with the teen, maybe the teenagers if they are in your group or something, right?
I have had some encounters with participants that were teens, and I've gotten some really good information from them about the experiences.
So I want to ask you something. So there are teenagers who are super achievers, and usually their challenge is the stress and the fact that they feel overwhelmed and I don't have the time.
Right.
So usually these are like on the top of their list. Of course, there might be also other things like competition is too high. I don't know if I will make it. Like all the other things. I'm not confident in how I'm looking. But the main things for the super achievers, the main things are the feeling of overwhelm and stress and lack of time management. For this category of kids, when they are coming to this kind of summits, this kind of Tony Robbins events, and doesn't matter, leadership in general summits, how they can be helped with their things? Because usually this category is saying, I'm already a leader. I don't need someone else to teach me something.
We've talked about the confidence as being the thing that they need to draw from within. No one else is giving them the confidence, so they're making that be the top of mind. But Tony likes to talk about having a compelling future. So the thing that is so interesting to you that it draws you to it versus you having to push hard to get there.
Okay.
And so when you are faced with stress and time overwhelm and so on, you need to take yourself out of it's almost like the you part of it, and instead think about what you can do for others and make it so much bigger than you that you're completely in it and not just focused on your own life. So it has to do with prioritizing, but prioritizing beyond what you even see as your circle right now.
But to this kind of summit, to the one that you've been now, and also to the teenagers that you maybe worked, did you have this kind of category? Like you identified, you saw any type of leaders who might deal with stress and overwhelm and so on, and this kind of events?
Well, it was interesting. I didn't see a lot of stress with the kids that we were working with. They may have felt it, but because of the culture, they may not have expressed it in the way that we're used to in America, let's say.
Like, for example, the girl, you remember Faith? That she was on the stage and so on, and that she said that she got a lot out of this and all these things. So she's I suppose, in like the leadership already category, and she was to this kind of event. And what do you think to that kind of kid? What she's taking from this kind of event?
Well, I definitely think that we lifted the how are you supposed to do it away from her, and instead gave her the power of just going after what you really love and living on that energy that comes from being around the right people, being in the right environments, doing the things that light you up, and using that instead of being stuck in the tyranny of how. I don't know, I need steps, I need all this stuff. Instead, embracing what is available to you that will open up those opportunities, the options, the things you didn't even think about will start to come to you.
So what you're saying is, instead of being stressed, oh my God, I have to do this, that, is like be surround yourself with the people that already maybe succeeded, or they have like the same values, the same way. Do the actions, but considering what you love to do. But now I'm thinking like something, I don't know, like some people are going to say, but I don't like to study at chemistry, but I need it in order to go to university. What I'm going to do?
So it's a great example, because I used to be a math teacher and people didn't like math at all. And I would always say to them, math is like a discipline. And if you want to be good at anything, you have to do the work behind it. So you have to create the patterns that create the success you're looking for. So you may not like math, you may not like chemistry, but recognizing that you may not have liked to eat your vegetables either, but it's what's needed to build your body. You do those things anyway. And I think it's good to build that muscle. So you may not like chemistry, but what can you find about chemistry that you do like? And focus more on that than the things you don't like, and it will make it a better experience for you.
Okay. So this means focusing on what I like from chemistry. So if I'm a kid that I'm saying, I don't like chemistry, so what would be something that I can love about chemistry? Might be the fact that, okay, I need chemistry in order to get to that school. So this I love about chemistry. So what you're saying is to attach a positive feeling and thoughts about the thing that I don't like in order to turn it in my favor, so that I can go through that 1 year, 2 years, whenever I need, in order to achieve to the thing that I need. Okay. And now what we're doing with the other kids. So the ones who feel that I'm lazy, like I'm not in the mood to do things, I procrastinate, like this category of kids, like how they can be helped to such a summit.
Kids that are having that experience are in the current state, like this is what I'm doing. But what we want to do is, who do I want to become? And you focus on that person, like we all have our superhero personas. Focus on your superhero and what the superhero has to do to survive, and not get stuck in the old version of yourself. So always be capitalizing on who you want to become, the traits they have, the characteristics that build them up. And that will get you excited about the future. So just like the chemistry example, you may not love it, but you do it anyway. Act like the person you want to be, and pretty soon you're going to become that person.
But this doesn't mean like to lie to yourself. Some people are going to say this is not toxic and lying to myself.
Well, that's a great question. But if you truly are the person who would rather sit on the couch and be lazy and not have your life run the way you want it to be, then that has a different outcome.
So you're saying, like, for me to think, so if I'm the one that doesn't like chemistry and I'm lazy and I want to do it and so on, I should ask myself, what are the consequences for me sitting here down like lazy on the couch, not doing the things and so on, how this is going to cost me in the future. So once I realize this, then I have a choice. I can choose now to sit here and just not to do anything, or to do things half, or to go on the other side and to do my things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a technique where you can play a tape of your, like make a movie of yourself taking this decision. So if I continue to sit on the couch for the next 5 hours and watch an entire season of whatever TV show, right? What outcome does that give me versus if I call a friend, do some breathing, meditation technique, get into a power pose, do something that gets me excited and allows me to do the thing I want to do? What's that outcome going to be like? If I'm that person as much as I can be, what kind of life did they get to live? You know?
So I understand also something, I heard also something. You said that in order for me to change my state, in order to like more something or to do something, even if I'm not in the mood to do it, you said something about physiology, like breathing, meditation, doing some higher pose, something. And usually they don't know what does it mean physiology. So like you are saying, because the higher pose, I think there is also a study, I think at Harvard, that they are saying that if you're going to stay in this, like in the superhero position, something like that, for 2 minutes, I think, then your level of cortisol is going to decrease by 28 or 27%, something like that. Only from staying like this, like from this higher pose this is great.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a part of that study says that if you do that before an interview, you'll actually do better on the interview. So I used to always tell my interviewees, go in the bathroom before your interview and hold the pose, get yourself in that good state, and then go. So works for school interviews and before tests and all of that stuff.
But
as
these
well.
kind of things they are teaching you, like they I don't know, you had this kind of teaching as you at UPenn?
No.
No. But and actually I think that this makes the difference, you know, like between people. And I want to ask you the last question. What do you think that makes the difference between like a successful person and someone who is like staying here, who has the potential, because everyone has the potential, but what makes the difference between one who is taking out the potential and goes here and the other person who says, I don't know, it's too hard, I don't have the family, I don't have the background, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, the age and so on, right? What would be the difference?
So it's definitely listening to voices that aren't true in your head. So you can choose to hear a bad thing or a good thing, and it's really about which one you focus on. So if you focus on the positive aspects, which you can go for either 50%, right? But if 80% of what we do is mindset and psychology, then you need to train your brain to believe that you can do all the things that you're meant to do. And you're your biggest advocate. You're your cheerleader. You're the one that reminds you of all the things that you want to be and the way you want to live your life.
So the conclusion is that we need to train our mind. So this is the thing that makes the difference, to train our mind for success, for a successful mindset.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, and how can we do this? Do you think that at this kind of summits, kids are receiving this? They are trained for their mindset?
I think if they are willing to do what they need to do during the summit, right? Like to take it in and not just be like, oh, this isn't for me, or I can't trust this. It's only someone else that can take this information and go with it. They have to go all in, play full out. Those are all phrases we say, but it really is true. If you do the exercises and trust that your best interest is at heart, you will have a better experience and it will be amazing.
Great. Tina, would you like to add something else, maybe to a teenager that wants to go maybe top school or doesn't want to go top school or whatever, but they want to have the money, they want to be fulfilled? Like, there is any message that you would like to tell them in order to arrive there to what they want?
So I would just like to say that I believe in you. Okay, I may not know you, but I know that you have a heart that wants to do what you're meant to do. I always like to say that you are designed by God for greatness and a purpose. And I truly believe that each and every one of us can do all of the things that we need to do if we just don't give up on ourselves.
Thank you, Tina, very much. So guys, we are waiting you for the next summits, the next youth leadership summits in the world, whenever you see that we are doing them. So watch us, and if you have any comments, just write here down. And if you struggle with something, with maybe something regarding a thought that you have, or maybe a situation, you can write here in the comments, and then we're going to come to serve you and to give you feedback or ideas or whatever. So thank you again, Tina.
Thank you.